We solved the final puzzle wrong.
We'll be fine.
In Resident Evil, puzzles aren't just mechanical steps, they're built on context, notes, and environmental details that seem minor at first but make perfect sense in hindsight. When you first start Resident Evil 9, your first file is already in hand, and the game physically tells you to look at it, and it's the investigation report. The game makes you look at each photo before being able to close the file, which is your big hint that it's important. It could be written off as a tutorial mechanic, but when you look into the file and the pictures, it's more than just that. When you open up the investigation report and scroll over to page 4, you're met with a man in a bathroom who's slumped over a toilet and has 8 on the wall written in blood. It makes you wonder if he wrote it or if someone else wrote it, and why 8 specifically. Fortunately, we get an answer on this, and it's in our first cutscene with Gideon.
Hello?
It hasn't been easy. But after much effort, here we finally are.
Who are you?
I'm the one who planted that body. I'm the one that brought you here. I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft. Rest now, Grace. We have so much to do.
Now, obviously, we don't know if Gideon was just trying to taunt Grace with the body and the hate because of Alyssa dying 8 years ago, so we'll keep that in mind going forward. When you arrive at the care center, you're met with the progress notes, which states that blood extraction started at 22:03 and the procedure ended at 22:18, which is a 15-minute interval, which will be important later. So just to preface this video, this is a first playthrough footage, but this should be your second playthrough because you don't know the final puzzle exists until New Game Plus. And I'm showing you all the evidence as you come across it the first time. So it being your second playthrough, you obviously know this is where we're going to meet the girl for the first time, and it's going to be very important being that this entire puzzle involves the care center and the 2 girls in it.
He's dead.
Being introduced to her means that we're about to get real comfortable with how she travels throughout the care center.
Oh God. Come on.
Interesting enough, there's actually clues on Leon's side about the final puzzle here. Not only are the patients being experimented on, but the staff are as well.
So how long have you worked for Dr. Gideon?
Not long. I just recently joined the team. We care for quite a few long-term patients here, all undergoing experimental therapies developed by Dr. Gideon.
Experimental therapies.
Yes. It's all very cutting edge. The facility keeps a low profile due to the sensitive nature of the research.
Oh, I bet it does.
Please, wait here.
Code 6, all staff initiate emergency protocols.
Mr. Kennedy, we need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown.
I think I want a second opinion.
Come on.
So now we know they're experimenting on patients and staff, so there has to be something bigger at play here at the care center.
Hey, over here.
And once you've reached main hall, you meet your second half of the pair.
surprised you. You can't see, can you? Who are you? Was there someone in the other cell? Why are you in there? Everyone's gone. Are you all right? No, no. Hold on. No. No, no. I'm sorry. What is happening here?
So skipping around West Hall and a little bit of the East as well, after you collect the jewel and hit the parlor, you're going to come across a set of playing cards on a table of poker being played. In one hand is going to be a royal flush, and the other is going to be a straight flush with 8 cards in between them. This is kind of another clue that we should probably hit this bathroom with clean toilets and flush 8 times. It's kind of a weird step, but there are hints towards doing so. Now the care center has its own water treatment facility, and I believe the water used at the care center is used in other places, specifically the lab underneath the care center. And once we place our first quartz in the door, we actually do get a second cutscene with Emily, which confirmed previous suspicions we had about who was in the cell next to Emily.
Hey. Are you all right? You're the lady from before. Yeah. This is, you're, Did anyone hurt you? Because I can't see? Oh, no, that's not what I meant. It's not my fault. The doctors gave us both medicine. Made our eyes go bad. So there was someone in there? There's another bed in this, My friend, Marie. One day she just disappeared. I'm sorry. When it happened, I was happy it wasn't me. Is that bad? I'm just gonna keep looking around.
Now you should have gained the red jewel by now for the parlor, which the poker game is on the immediate left as you walk in. So now after gaining the dissolving bottle for the lock, we meet Gideon again, who explains what we're doing at the care center in the first place, which Elpis has mentioned for the first time.
Miss Ashcroft. Come in. I won't harm you. I was just looking for Dr. Richardson.
Why did you kidnap me?
Kidnap you? I liberated you.
Who are you?
Oh, forgive me. Dr. Victor Gideon. I run this center. It took forever to find you. You're not like other people, you know. You're quite unique. Through you, Elpis can finally be set free.
Why me?
Because my master made you who you are. Ah. Phase 2's about to begin. Would you like to see what's hidden under the hood? Grace! Wait! Grace! 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 There's no escaping your destiny.
Now it's been mentioned that we've been made for something, and Gideon's end goal is Elpis, but that's not the only thing he's been doing at the care center.
What does he mean, destiny?
So not only do we gain the Sun Quartz here, but the Leatherbound Notebook, which gives us the code for the organ transplant box, as well as Spencer's research, which tells us that now the T-Virus not only infects, but allows you to keep your characteristics and habits pre-infection, which is super important for later in the video. With the level 1 wristband, it gives us this room in the back of the blood analyzation room, which gives us one more file hinting towards the final puzzle, which we'll use later. Victor's journal entry states that the child, she must be the final piece of the puzzle, and he needs to get his hands on the child's data, but it's lacking in certain areas except for the genetic information, and that he can use that, which I feel is a play on words that you should use the hand at the blood analyzation machine later on in the video. Upon reaching the third puzzle room, you get more information on who is next to Emily inside of the cells, and that is from this researcher dead at his desk.
This must be it. I can't tell which button's which. Braille. these girls? They look just like... You're the one that locked her up. I'm gonna borrow this. I bet she can read that.
Now with the level 3 wristband, we can go get Emily so she can solve this final puzzle for us.
Thank God. Here it is. You think you can read it?
I can try.
It's like a giant puzzle box. Stay here, Emily. You handle this. I'll, handle that. Come here.
I found this.
Well done, Emily. Thank you. I thought that thing was dead.
So like I mentioned earlier, the infected keep their characteristics and habits, so I don't know if Emily was recognized as a friend there because she was sharing cells and they had a friendship beforehand, but she definitely did not try to kill Emily, picking her up and dragging her into the basement.
This is all my fault. I can't just leave her. Oh, God. Hang on, Emily. I'm coming.
When you arrive in the basement, you're met with a note that explains why Emily was dragged here to the basement. It's because the girl is occupying it. The basement is super important to the final puzzle because not only is it tied to the care center, but it's where the employees and the patients are experimented on, as well as where blood extraction occurs, which will be laid out in files ahead of us. So as you heard, Grace observed that the girl likes to collect things, which further supports my theory that she probably recognized Emily and brought her here for safety. Also, while looking around the cell here, you can probably recognize a doll that seems pretty familiar. The doll on the right of Emily is the same exact doll we see upstairs in the care center in the cell beside Emily. Security guard's report that you can find in the back of the first fuse room states that 12 subjects that were confirmed infected were reduced to blood at the processing area. This is going to be your first hint that this puzzle is in the basement of the Rhodes Hill Care Center. After traveling through the care center, you could probably guess that the confirmed infected that were reduced to blood are patients and employees over the time that the Rhodes Hill Care Center has been established. After grabbing your second fuse and immediately turning around and going through this vent, you can grab a second hint in note form that the basement includes the puzzle. The technician note states that they took a toolbox to the boiler room for repairs and that the quality of blood the laboratory receives has gone downhill. It looks like there was a problem during the separation process and that they were going to fix it, but it looks like it was never the case, which we'll come back to later in the video. Now that we've traveled throughout the basement a little while, we've noticed that the girl likes to travel not only through the floors and the ceilings of the care center, but the pipes and vents of the basement. After gaining 2 fuses and a forklift key, you're met with the stockroom of the processing area, which has staff and patients hanging from the ceiling, which will be important for after this room.
Oh God, I really don't want to go in there. Be calm, Grace.
The next big step is inside the processing area, where if you remember at the beginning of the video when we said that blood extraction took roughly 15 minutes, we're going to come across another note later in the game, which will explain why we're also here for 15 minutes. Using this as a guide, I would really recommend popping a save right here before doing this, just in case anything goes wrong. If you're going to do this puzzle yourself, you're basically going to stand here for 15 minutes and let these body drop, so I'd recommend getting up, taking a break, using the bathroom, getting a snack, because a 15-minute period is longer than you would think. So, like I said, we're going to come across a file later in the game that explains this step a little bit further, but for now we're going to stand here and let these body drop for 15 minutes. Once you start draining the fluid and drop down into the pool, you basically want to have every zombie die to the grinder. You cannot let a single zombie live because of the amount of blood you need.
What?
Fluid drainage complete. Processing will now begin.
Processing.
So once the processing starts, you basically want to stun each and every zombie. I would recommend shooting them in the knees. And like I said, every zombie has to die.
Finally stopped. Thank God.
So once that's finished, we grab our third fuse and we head through the vent like the girl. Once we land down in the collections and testing pool, this is where it's going to be really important that we saved earlier, because this is where we're going to find out if we did everything correctly. We're looking for one of two things: a ton of blood or a torrent of blood. So if we turn around here, we get our prompt: a torrent of blood flowed out, which is what we're looking for. So if this didn't show up, just go ahead, reload your save, wait for the bodies to drop, and then come back to this point. And then once we have all our fuses, we can go back and collect Emily.
It's me! It's me! It's Grace! It's Grace! Calm down. Grace? Yeah. We gotta get out of here.
So if we turn around and we enter Emily's cell, we can actually pick up the doll, which will give us a name, Marie, which will become important later.
I'm scared. Why is it so loud? It's gonna be
Once you race back to the elevator with Emily, we're about to get our final important cutscene to the final puzzle with Marie before her eventual death in the game.
Why won't they close?
Stay away! Go faster! What's going on?
Now we have our third quartz from Emily, and turning around, we have the hand, which I kind of want to explain more of why we're going to take this to the blood analyzer and scan it, because there is more hints than just Victor's journal inside of the Security 1 lab. With Spencer's research too, they hypothesized because fruit flies have the potential to pass on certain memories to their offspring that they can do the same with humans. And in the second page, they state with the T virus granting them control over factors within blood and blood containing multitudes of information, including factors tied to memory, they can use those same elements to transfer memories from important individuals, but those individuals must be able to withstand the toxicity of mutated T virus strain while preserving their own intelligence. So with scanning the hand, you get hit with this Let's Play and a code GGC, AAG, AUA, ACG, UGU, and CAU, which is very important to what I just said, because how would you receive this message if there wasn't memory tied into blood? As well as, like I said, that last cutscene with Marie was very important because she said 2 words to you before ripping off her hand. To solve the code, you're going to need this hourglass from the office above the lab. If you turn it over, it's an actual working hourglass and it'll reveal a code for you. To know how to complete this code, with Leon in Deep Raccoon City after you beat the tyrant, there's a basketball court with a head and a fallen over basketball hoop. If you kick the head through the hoop and you go back to Kendo's shop, there's a little figurine on the floor that tells you just ignore A. So with that, after you turn over the hourglass, you get U equals 380,000, which if you research about the sun, moon, star, you find out that 380,000 kilometers away is the moon. So in the original blood analysis room, G equals 150 million. The sun is roughly 150 million kilometers away from Earth, as well as Grace Ashcroft's blood analysis report teaches us C equals 4.20 Y. Alpha Centauri is roughly 4.2 light years away from Earth. So this would be the actual code for Let's Play, ignoring A. Last thing I want to loop back to is the body dumping into the fluid. There is another file that you can find in the game, so in total 2. Subject 170 states that they drew blood from infected and injected it into Marie, meaning the girl in the cell next to Emily is Marie. So this is where we find out that the girl inside of the cage was Marie, and they hensed her 170 and Emily 171. And this is where we find out they injected them with blood from infected that they gathered from that processing area. So it kind of gives us a hint of why we were there dumping bodies. So with now everything we've gathered and done throughout this puzzle, if you just follow me throughout the lab that it's obviously self-destructing, you will find an item on the ground that we alluded to earlier in the video. So I just wanted to show off there that you can't grab 170 unless you grab it before the self-destruction. So with all the hints we've been giving about Marie crawling through the care center, she's been giving blood by the infected, and that there was a decrease in blood quality and separation, the fact that we find this item at the bottom of the stairs where the blood's flowing and the pipes are bursting on the left side of the room gives us a big hint on what the separation cause was. I also know that the pipes are a lot smaller in this area, but we know that she was a lot smaller when she first started mutating. So you have to take Marie's doll throughout the entire rest of the game in your item box or your inventory, pick your choosing. But once you do a new game and bring it all the way back to that puzzle in the office where you meet Gideon the second time, you can input that code I was talking about and you will finally let the sweet pair hear the voice. The code being sun, sun, star, Sun, Moon, Star. Sun, Moon, Sun. And Moon, Star, Moon. So I kind of want to bring one more thought before we bring this video to a close, and it's the fact that we were talking about how they were bringing memories from important individuals back, and the fact that Xeno is talked about as an imitation. Could this final puzzle be our first clue that Wesker is finally returning to Resident Evil?
I'd like you to come with me.
Come with you.
Well, you feel lost, but you're not. You're exactly where you need to be.
I've been waiting for you, Grace.
Who are you?
Raccoon City. You're the reason for its destruction, but you're also the key to building a brave new world. You're the final piece. Let us show you your true purpose.